Chapter 201. 7 years ago in a small town in Kanto. A little boy with only 9 years of age was getting beaten up behind a school by 2 other young boys and mocked. The little boy was called Daniel and was a quiet kid in his school who had no friends in his class. He was by far the worst in the class and even had problems with simple and easy tasks. In addition, today, he unintentionally upset 2 boys from his class, leading both of them to want to teach him a lesson. Although these 2 little boys insulted him and beat him up very badly, Daniel showed no reaction. Someone would assume that he had gone unconscious if both of his eyes weren't open. Both young ones, who heard no rattling from Daniel after several blows, couldn't help but stop and look at Daniel attentively. Daniel made no sound and didn't move his body at all. It looked like he didn't feel any pain or that he was a doll. Both little boys saw that and couldn't help but get goosebumps. For an immature 9 years old, it was a very strange and eerie scene, so both started leaving immediately. Though the 2 did not run away, both watched Daniel vigilantly as they walked quickly. Daniel, lying on the floor, slowly started getting up again and put his bag on his back. He showed a totally normal expression as if he had not been hit several times just now. That was Daniel's house, or rather the house of Daniel's parents. Both of Daniel's parents were pretty poor and had little money to spend. Child support was a small source of income for Daniel's parents. Daniel went to the door and opened it very slowly after unlocking it with his key, making sure that there is no sound. Since his birth, he had been told by his parents that he should be quiet or that they would beat him up, mainly his father, so he makes sure not to make any noise from early life. That was one of the very few things his parents taught him. They only taught him how to cook and clean but never taught him how to write or even talk. He learned almost everything himself while listening to other people at school or at home. When he even went to school for the first time, he could hardly speak or write, not to mention math. Although Daniel is terribly abused and exploited by his parents, he never thought that his parents didn't love him. For him, it was clear that his parents love him even if he was not sure what that word means. But he learned in school that all parents love their child, so he believed that his parents are the same. Daniel has never spoken to a child in his class longer than a few words, so he does not know how other parents treat their children. Especially since his parents don't allow him to go out unless he is going to school. "Where were you? You were 5 minutes late." Daniel's father shouted at Daniel when he saw him. Daniel didn't say anything for fear of making his father angry. He just lowered his head and looked at the floor so that he does not have to look into his father's eyes. Daniel's father showed an annoyed expression and continued watching the TV without saying another word to Daniel. Fortunately, the favorite show of father is running, so he is in a good mood today, thought Daniel as he walked towards the kitchen. Before Daniel could enter the kitchen, he heard his mother order him, "Do the laundry before you cook." Daniel, who was ignored by his mother most of the time and only told about his tasks, was always a bit happy. Although he can't explain it, he likes it when his mother doesn't ignore him and talk to him. Although he didn't dare to smile because he painfully learned that neither of his parents likes it when he smiles. When Daniel was doing the laundry, both parents focused on watching the show. Suddenly the show was interrupted, and an emergency news report started. The reporter said in a pressing tone, "In Drawn City, there is an emergency. The situation is very threatening near the forest next to Drawn City due to the wild Pokemon. Many relatively strong Pokemon are moving outside of the forest, going towards the city. Houses near the edge of the Drawn City are in the most danger, as few relatively strong Pokemon may attack there first. It is declared as the red zone, and residents are advised to move out immediately." Daniel's parents both suddenly panicked and quickly started to run away. Both understood that acting faster is the best way to survive safely in such a situation. To all Drawn City residents who live on the edge of the city, leave your house and enter the inner city where officers will take care of you. Only trainers with a Pokemon that is at least level 30 are still safe on the edge of the city. In Drawn City, there is an emergency. The situation. As the news kept on going, Daniel's parents quickly left the house. In their panic, they completely forgot about Daniel, who was still doing the laundry. Although the 2 remembered him in the middle of the way, they didn't dare to go back. Daniel, with his child support money, earns a few Pokédollars every month for the family despite his expenses. But for a few Pokédollars, it was not worth the risk for both of them to save their child. The only reason why you kept Daniel was because of the little money and that they didn't have to do any work at home. Also both thought about the money they would get from the alliance if Daniel dies in this situation. Daniel suddenly heard the sound of the wooden door of the house being broken and loud humming noises, which was getting louder and louder. He went into the living room and saw how 4 adult Beedrill had entered the house and were rummaging through everything for food. He also noticed that his parents weren't in the living room anymore. When he heard the repeated message from the TV, he understood immediately. He showed expressions of intense sadness and anger as he started crying. He saw Beedrill noticing him and thought that his life was gonna end there. But unlike his expectations, none of the Beedrill showed an aggressive expression towards him or tried to hurt him. He even saw how the largest Beedrill had a slight expression of sympathy as he looked into the eyes of this Pokemon. Daniel, who experienced this ridiculous situation, showed a helpless expression, as he stopped crying and just sat quietly on the floor with a low spirit. 1 week later, Daniel survived this dangerous situation, but, to his surprise, both of his parents died when they were running towards town. In this incident, more than 50 citizens died, and several hundred were injured. Today there was a mass funeral, and Daniel was one of the people who watched it. After the death of his parents, he began to understand a lot about the world and about his parents. He understood how regular people treat their children of his age and that his parents never loved him. He doesn't even know how it feels to be loved. Ha ha ha. Daniel simultaneously started laughing and crying when he saw the tombstone the Alliance had chosen for his parents. It was a very simple tombstone with just one sentence. Here lie the loving parents, Jasper and Olivia Kirschbaum. N. Never bully the quiet kid in your class. You don't wanna get on his hit list. There are too many memes about it on YouTube. Chapter 202. Daniel was sent to an orphanage in the town after the funeral. He was promised by the Alliance that he would be given money every month to make up for his loss. The money will be accumulated and given to him when he turns 16 and leaves the orphanage. Daniel showed no particular emotion when he went to the orphanage for the first time. He cared a little why all the other children were crying when they came to this house. He thought that this house treated him much better than his parents, so he found it very pleasant. He could eat enough to fill his stomach, didn't have to work all the time, and could even study there. He could even read books there for free. It was a paradise for Daniel. Unfortunately, his ability to read was very, very poor, so he could not take the full benefit of this opportunity. After a few years, Daniel experienced a big change in him. For the first time in his life, he could speak normally, without pauses and problems, and could now even read and write. He also found out which Pokemon saved him from his parents and spared him that unforgettable day. Although he's not sure which Pokemon killed his parents, his assumption was that it was Beedrill. Beedrill became his all-time favorite Pokemon, and he started learning all kinds of things about this Pokemon. He had also set the goal of becoming a Pokemon trainer who specializes in bug-type Pokemon. Daniel now had a dream. He wanted to become a trainer who only trains bug-type Pokemon and brings this underestimated Pokemon to the champion rank. Although Daniel could now talk to other children normally, he still had no friends. The other children, compared to Daniel, were so naive that it made him feel jealous and disgusted, and he had no interest in the other children in the orphanage. They only talk about stupid things or naive dreams without doing anything for it. He also noticed that these children were extremely sensitive. Every little thing made them cry. Why are you crying just because you didn't get anything to eat in a single day? Or you got a little hurt after falling? This was nothing compared to what he has been through. Daniel couldn't understand these spoiled children. He kept his distance and started to ignore all the other children. Unfortunately, he seems to have an aura that makes some ignorant kids think he's an easy target. Daniel now understood the world better and had a goal that he wanted to achieve, so he no longer had an indifferent attitude towards his life. After he broke several bones and even slightly tortured his enemies, no child tried to trouble him anymore. Now, they were the ones who kept their distance from him. In addition, it made sure that no child dares to look at him or even speak to him. Even though he was severely punished by the orphanage, Daniel felt that the punishment was a joke. A normal week with his parents was worse than the punishment he received from the orphanage. Daniel turned even more indifferent towards humans and fell more and more in love with Pokemon. Without hesitation, he would sacrifice 100 people to save a Beedrill. He started spending all of his free time learning about Pokemon and read as many books as he could find to gather knowledge. Although he wasn't really rich, now he had more than enough money to get off to a very good start as a trainer. But Daniel knew that he had to be very economical with this money. So he saved money and didn't spend any money on unimportant things. He even only bought one Weedle with B rank bronze talent. He bought a lot of good Pokemon food and immediately started training his Weedle. Although he had a few problems initially convincing Weedle to become his Pokemon, it was a lot easier than he thought. He had read numerous stories about how Beedrill are very aggressive Pokemon who start attacking their trainer, in many cases even killing them. To his surprise, this Weedle was only aggressive at the beginning, and after a few conversations, it started to listen to him. Daniel didn't know why Weedle listened so obediently to him and showed a joyful expression for the first time in his life. Weedle, who could easily read the emotions on its trainer's face, showed an identical expression as its trainer. Daniel only trained Weedle for a month before going into the wild with it. He also gave it good Pokemon food and bought special training tools that are used for bug-type Pokemon. He went into several forests and caught 2 more Pokemon after observing that they were both the leaders of their small groups. After testing the potential of these 2 Pokemon, he realized that he had just won his lottery. His first Pokemon was actually an S-rank Pokemon. In addition, this Pokemon was his favorite Pokemon species, Beedrill. Although this Beedrill was very weak and only at level 12, he knew that this Beedrill would be his strongest Pokemon in the future. The other Pokemon, Butterfree, also had very good potential with A rank even though it is only level 11. Daniel, who had found out that the Kanto Rookie Tournament will start in less than 1 month, had already planned to take part in order to gain more experience. Even if he knew that he couldn't win, he wanted to use this chance to gain experience. After another month, all of his 3 Pokemon had gotten more powerful. Especially the 2 new talented Pokemon leveled up very quickly. Trainer. Daniel. Pokemon. Butterfree LV20 A rank, Beedrill LV23 B rank, Beedrill LV21 S rank. Daniel wasn't surprised when he was quickly defeated in the second round, notwithstanding his opponent being a bit too friendly for his taste. But because he realized that this trainer was a talented person, he didn't show his thoughts and talked with him for a while. He was able to get a lot of important tips and even got the contact info of this strong trainer. For Daniel, this talented trainer named Alex was just a way to make a powerful friend. That's why he even talked a little bit about himself when he realized how helpful Alex's help can be for him. Daniel also watched the tournament to the end and realized how lucky he was. Fortunately, he made a little contact with the tournament winner. After this meeting, Daniel did not meet Alex again, and only occasionally via cell phone, asked him questions he had about Pokemon. Daniel even started to respect the trainer Alex a bit for his skill in the tournament and his humble bearing. 4 months later, Daniel had gotten much stronger. He even managed to bring up his starter Pokemon on an A-rank talent with a few items, which made him very happy. He didn't want to give up his starter Pokemon just because its talent wasn't optimal. Currently, Daniel was slowly walking on the rough roads in the dark village. After a long day, because he had spent it in the forest, he just wanted to go to the apartment that he had rented. His apartment was on the edge of the village. But because he is so strong now, it's not a problem for him. Daniel stopped after taking a few steps and made a grim face. For a few days, he had the feeling that he was being watched. But since he did not manage to find any trace, he could never be 100% sure. Today, he had set up a trap for the people watching him in order to find out whether it was his imagination or not. He had planted several small cameras around his house that one won't be able to easily find out. After several minutes of wait, he saw a person in a completely black outfit and a Golbat, looking in the direction of his house. Daniel showed a cold expression when he analyzed the strength of this Crobat. He didn't look particularly strong, according to his experience. Although it is very difficult to assess the strength of a Pokemon via video, it is not impossible to give a rough estimate with an error rate of plus or minus 5 levels. This Golbat's level must be between 20 and 30. It isn't really that strong. He probably is only responsible for observing me, Daniel thought as his expression grew colder. Chapter 203. 4 days later, in a high-class hotel in Pewter City. Alex was sitting on a couch while reading the report that Lisa had just sent him. This report was more concise than the other reports and only had 1 page of content. Alex, therefore briefly confused, quickly understood the reason after he finished reading the report. The subordinate who watched Daniel for 3 days wrote that he was unexpectedly discovered by Daniel on the last day despite not owning a psychic-type Pokemon or seeing him directly. The subordinate found Daniel moving quickly in his direction and quickly trying to catch him. The subordinate luckily had a trick in store, so he could barely get out. After this report, Lisa wrote that further observation does not make sense and that this is now his own problem. Alex closed the report with a smirk on his face. With the help of Lisa, he had learned about what happened to Daniel's parents. Details about his behavior in his orphanage were also sent to him by Lisa. Although this report did not say how the parents treated Daniel, it was not difficult to guess. Especially when he read the name of the Pokemon species that killed his parents, judging by the corpses of Daniel's parents. Alex was 99% sure that Daniel's parents abused Daniel, or, at least, Daniel hated his parents. What Alex didn't understand was why Daniel had a negative attitude towards the Alliance. He found no particular reason written in the report, so his guess was that Daniel probably didn't like the orphanage that the Alliance had sent him up. Fortunately, I thought ahead, and I'm already in the same city as Daniel, thought Alex as he called all his Pokemon to gather around. The report was sent no longer than 10 minutes ago, so Daniel could not have gotten far with his Pokemon. Without the flying-type Pokemon to carry him or the psychic-type Pokemon to teleport, Daniel was really slow to travel. Ditto, come and transform yourself back into the face. As for everyone else, except Crobat, you all have to go back to your Pokeballs for the time being, said Alex with a heavy tone. Alex didn't want to let Daniel know about his identity carelessly at first. So he also had to watch out which Pokemon he shows to Daniel. Crobat was the best option because this Pokemon can often be seen with other Team Rocket members. Not to mention, Crobat was strong enough to defeat Daniel's entire team if the need arises. Together with Ditto, who could save him from surprise attacks, these two Pokemon were more than enough. After less than 5 minutes, Alex and Crobat landed about 500 meters from Daniel's apartment. Crobat became a bit suspicious after checking out Daniel's house. He told Alex that Daniel was still in his house, making Alex suspicious too. Alex showed a curious expression as he first thought, a trap or something else. He smiled as he mused about it. After a few seconds, he called Gardevoir out of her Pokeball to make sure. Although Alex is now showing 2 Pokemon from his tournament, it's just a little bit alike and nothing more. As long as he does not show Scizor, it shouldn't be a big problem. Especially since his Pokemon were much stronger now than they were in the tournament. Crobat went in front of the group, and Alex and Gardevoir just behind him. Alex walked with a calm and confident expression. He knew from his reports that Daniel was not weak but has not yet reached elite rank. Even if he had reached elite rank, Alex doesn't think he and his team can lose to 1 or 2 weak elite Pokemon. In an emergency, he was still able to escape with his much better mobility. Alex, who was only 5 meters away from Daniel's house, felt that it was too easy and that something was wrong. He thought for a few seconds and called Bastiodon for double safety. Bastiodon is the perfect target to activate the possible traps that Daniel might have prepared. Alex is sure that Bastiodon can probably take a hit from a level 55 Pokemon, let alone weaker ones. Bastiodon broke open the door of Daniel's house with his forearms and went through. Fortunately, the door was built so big that large Pokemon like Bastiodon can come through the door. Bastiodon went ahead, but it seemed that there were no traps in this house. Gardevoir told Alex via telepathy that a person with 3 Pokemon was in the room next to the entrance. Alex chose to open the door this time without destroying it. As Alex's eyes fell into the room, he found Daniel sitting quietly on a chair, together with 3 Pokemon and looking in their direction with an expectant and vigilant look. He immediately looked at the information from these 3 Pokemon. Pokemon. Beedrill, LV, 32. Attributes. Bug Poison. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Silver. Moves. Poison Sting. String Shot. Harden. Peck. Twineedle. Rage. Fury Attack. Focus Energy. Poison Jab. Eat Pursuit. Focus Energy. Venoshock. Assurance. Toxic Spikes. Pin Missile. Innate Talent. Outrage E. TM. Protect. Pokemon. Butterfree. LV. 35. Abilities. Compound Eyes. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep Silver. Moves. String Shot. Tackle. Harden. Gust. Supersonic. Confusion. Poison Powder. Sleep Powder E. Stun Spore. Psybeam. Whirlwind. Air Slash. Safeguard. Bug Buzz. Innate Talent. Sleep Powder E. TM. Protect. Pokemon. Beedrill. Attributes. Bug Poison. Abilities. Sniper. Hidden Ability. Gender. Male. Potential. Gold. Moves. Poison Sting. String Shot. Harden. Peck. Twineedle. Rage. Fury Attack. Focus Energy. Poison Jab. Eat Pursuit. Focus Energy. Venoshock. Assurance. Toxic Spikes. Pin Missile. Innate Talent. Venoshock E. Innate Talent. Focus Energy E. Innate Talent. X Scissor E. TM. Protect. When Alex read the information from Daniel Pokemon, especially the last one, he couldn't help but be amazed. Gold plus sniper, hidden ability plus innate talent, focus energy is ridiculously rare. It's incredible that he only had used the bronze Beedrill in the tournament before and had hidden such a good Pokemon, thought Alex when he saw these Pokemon. Chapter 204. Alex and Daniel look at each other silently for a moment as if they were waiting for the other to make the first move. After a couple of seconds, Alex showed an intrigued expression. He asked with an interrogative tone, "So, why are you still here?" Daniel looked at Alex and said as if it was the obvious thing, "The person who was watching me wasn't a rookie. And he just kept the watch and never tried to fight me. So it was obvious that he was observing me under someone else's order. And I expected someone to come here soon after he ran away." After a few seconds, he looked at Alex and said emotionlessly, "What do you want from me? I think this is our first time meeting." Alex gave a smile and pulled a portable machine out of his pocket that only had one large switch. Daniel looked vigilant when he saw Alex hold this machine in his hand as if he was asking him to look at it and see what he was gonna do. When Alex pressed the switch without another word, all the electrical devices began to break due to overload, especially the hidden one. It looked as if all the electrical devices in this house connected to the electricity had broken. Alex couldn't help but think, what an impressive technology. Alex particularly noticed that 4 small cameras fell from the ceiling and wall after he had pressed this switch. He gave a slight smile when he said, "Oh, what do I see here? You really have a lot of cameras. Fortunately, this little toy prevented you from misusing them to do anything funny." Daniel said nothing but thought, "Do you think you can prevent me from having a photo of your face?" Haha, there are cameras all around the house, and the recordings are already stored in separate memory space." Although he thought something like that, he didn't let it show his face when he said, "This device shouldn't be easy for normal people to get. So you probably come from a powerful organization." Alex knew that Daniel was trying to get more information from him. But since this meeting is a test for him to check if Daniel is a good choice, he only showed a smile when he said, "Hey. You really have a good instinct. If I'm right, you should already have a guess about which organization I am from, right?" Although Daniel didn't like Alex's playful tone, he continued to put on an emotionless expression as he nodded. "My guess is that you are from Team Rocket with all the hints I have found till now." The most obvious but also the most probable guess. "I like it," spoke Alex with a knowing smirk and a playful tone. Daniel didn't like the way Alex was speaking and got more and more annoyed. He just felt like a trapped mouse being played by a cat. But even when he was thinking such things, he showed no expression to Alex and behaved cooperatively. He believed that the strong should be respected and that, being weak, he had no right to negotiate. Especially since he knew that he was just a nobody with okayish strength. Daniel looked at Alex for a few seconds and then said in a submissive tone, "Sir, what can I do for you?" Alex's haughty smile still lingered on his face. "Oh, you really are a smart person." But the next second, Alex's face turned cold as he said, "But I don't like it when people think I don't know what they're thinking and show such an expression. So stop that polite shit and let us talk. We have a lot to discuss." Daniel saw Alex's cold expression and changed his face to a serious expression back when he said, "Sure. What do you want to talk to me about?" Alex showed an approving expression when he said, "Let's not beat around the bush. I'm looking for a subordinate, and I've been watching you see if you're a good option." Daniel, he heard that, showed a slightly confused expression. "Subordinate? You don't go through all the hassle of looking for a subordinate, do you? Unless it's an important position. But if that's the case, you should be able to find a subordinate easily from your organization. These people have a small risk of betrayal, and there should be multiple choices available." Alex smiled as he said, "You half guessed it right. The position I am offering you is to become a direct subordinate of mine." Daniel said in a mocking tone, "Choice? Do I really have a choice?" Alex gave a friendly smile and said, "Of course. Talented and useful people are almost always given a choice. But I don't think you will refuse if you hear what you can get." Daniel fell silent and listened to Alex attentively. "The first thing you should know is that after a year, I will get a position with similar power as a Team Rocket executive." Alex bent the truth as he described his position. Although he wasn't lying, his statements were really inaccurate. Daniel was stunned hearing the first sentence from Alex. As he thought, Team Rocket executive. He's really a big shot. He could definitely help me get stronger. Let's see what he has to offer. I'm looking for a good subordinate who will get to enjoy incredible benefits and rights. Believe me when I say it's better than what you can imagine. But I need qualified people, so I naturally have to know everything about my direct subordinates." After a few seconds, Alex smiled, Daniel, I know everything about your past. Your strength, your behavior in the orphanage, and even the potential of your 3 Pokémon. Daniel heard the last sentence from Alex and was shocked to the core. Alex just smiled as he said, although an S-rank Pokémon is really valuable, I believe that you are more valuable. I'm not just saying that without meaning, and if I wanted, I could have easily killed you long before and stole your Pokémon. Daniel showed a grim expression as he understood his situation better. What do I have to do as your subordinate? Alex smiled. First thing first. Get strong as soon as possible. I'll help you in getting stronger as possible, and when I give an order, you have to execute it with high efficiency. After a few seconds, he continued, but don't worry, you will have a lot of freedom, and I will very rarely give you orders. Let's slowly build trust. Daniel's eyes showed a slight sarcasm when he said, trust. Yes, trust. Do you know how to easily build trust between suspicious people? Daniel didn't say anything and just looked into Alex's eyes. Alex started pulling Ditto off his face as he said, one of the easiest ways is when both parties in the relationship having something to lose. Daniel looked shocked when he saw Alex's actual face. The first thought that came to his mind was, impossible. But after a few seconds, everything started to make sense. Why had someone thought that his potential was good and observed him via a subordinate? Why didn't Alex care to activate the device that destroyed all machines before entering the house and showed his face without any care? All pieces started falling together. After not even a second, he calmed down and said with a resolute tone, I accept the offer. Alex showed a look that said, as expected, when he said, I don't think you will regret this choice. Even though he showed his face, Daniel had no evidence, so his testimony would be pointless. Not to mention, a smart guy like him won't make the whole Team Rocket his enemy. Alex showing his face was a winning blow with no risk included. Chapter 205. After Daniel agreed to become the direct subordinate of Alex, Alex told Daniel what would happen in 1 year and told him to prepare for it. Alex wasn't afraid that Daniel would betray him at this point. He considers Daniel as a smart person who is hardly influenced by emotions. Such people are not hard to control if you know how their mind works. As long as Daniel enjoys enough advantages from Alex and Alex is strong enough, Daniel would never betray him. In addition, the fear of being chased by Team Rocket if he betrays Alex is a huge deterrent. This combination of reward and fear should ensure that Daniel will not get any such thoughts. Of course, there is also a chance that he will still do it, but this probability is so small and inevitable that Alex halfway ignores it. Daniel, who had learned that Alex had a chance to get a position with incredible potential and benefits, got excited about becoming one of Alex's 3 direct subordinates. Especially after finding out that Alex already has another trainer as a subordinate, who is on the elite rank, he was a little agitated. He suddenly felt that Alex's chances of success were really high and that it was a precious chance for him to get closer to his dream. Daniel looked seriously at Alex and knelt as he said, Boss, I'm waiting for your order. Alex emotionlessly looked at Daniel's eyes and said nothing for a moment. He tried to find out by analyzing the expressions of Daniel why he decided to join him. But after he couldn't figure anything out of Daniel, he stopped thinking about it. It doesn't matter whether he was doing it due to advantages, fear, or genuine respect, Alex was sure that Daniel is smart enough not to betray him. Alex spoke with a commanding tone. I only have one order for you. Get strong as soon as possible. If you get stronger quickly, I will give you assignments where I will not hold back on your reward. Daniel agreed and nodded with a serious expression as he thought inwardly, is he really not afraid that I will get stronger too quickly? I'll see whether his confidence is justified. Alex looked at Daniel and said in a soft tone, don't disappoint me. Although these words were very mild, Daniel felt the cold indifference of Alex through them, which sent a shiver through his entire body. He quietly agreed, and the room grew awkwardly quiet. He knew that his position was probably not important in Alex's head, so he knew what to do. Even if Alex said that he would be one of the 3 or the remaining 2 subordinates who can take this test, it was still a possibility that Alex would find 2 better subordinates, and he loses the place because he was too weak. But I will need more money to make my Pokémon stronger faster, thought Daniel when he realized that his current balance was nowhere enough for the expensive items and Pokémon foods required to grow stronger quickly. Daniel looked at Alex and said in a respectful tone, Boss, I know a Pokémon that lives nearby and levels up very quickly even after reaching the elite rank. Thereby, I think this Pokémon is an S-rank Pokémon. Alex showed no greed to his words as Daniel had expected but an indifferent one as he said, weird. There should only be weak Pokémon near town. Daniel saw Alex doubting his words and said with confidence, "It is an elite butterfree that does not attack people and lives a little deeper into the forest. After I got stronger, I went deeper and deeper into the forest to explore, and I found this butterfree 3 times in the same place." Alex, who wondered if there was a trap, felt that it was almost impossible. Only people who were really strong would dare to build a trap deep in the forest surrounded by powerful Pokemon. "Okay, show the way," said Alex as he put his Ditto mask back on. He also said via telepathy that Crobat should stay close to Daniel and Gardevoir should remain close to him. Even if he thinks it wasn't a trap, Alex always likes to be on the safe side. Daniel, Alex, and all the Pokemon in this room left the apartment to go deeper part of the forest to find this butterfree. After less than 30 minutes, Alex found 2 butterfrees sitting alone in a flower meadow. Alex looked at the 2 Pokemon's info and showed a slightly happy expression. Pokemon. Butterfree. LV. 45. Attributes. Bug flying. Abilities. Compound eyes. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow gold. Moves. String shot. Tackle. Harden. Gust. Supersonic. Confusion. Poison powder. Sleep powder. Stun spore. Psybeam eat whirlwind. Air slash. Safeguard. Bug buzz eat rage powder. Captivate. Tailwind. Air slash. Innate talent solar beam E. Innate talent rain dance. Innate talent sleep talk. The other Pokemon, a level 32 deep silver butterfree, was good too. Alex looked at Daniel and said with a smile, "I'll do it alone. As soon as I'm done and have tested the potential, I'll give you your share." Daniel didn't show reluctance and said, "Yes, boss." Alex showed a satisfied expression when he said, "I'm very happy with your attitude, so I'll show you a place where you can train undisturbed. Also, if one of those Pokemon is an S-rank Pokemon, I'll give you 50% of the profit." Daniel was stunned hearing this. He didn't expect Alex to be so generous. Even though he had led Alex to this Pokemon, he didn't think he would get much. His estimate was a maximum of 20 or 30% share. Alex saw Daniel's expression and smiled as he said, "I'm a generous boss. As long as you're useful, I won't skimp on rewards." Daniel was beginning to understand Alex a little more. He appears to be very generous to useful people. But Daniel understood that he would only get good rewards when he is useful. He stepped back and stood with a tree as a backing, waiting for Alex to come back while staying alert for any situation. Daniel wasn't afraid that Alex would cheat on him for a little bit of money after giving him such a generous share. Chapter 206. Alex started releasing his Pokemon except for Shuppet and Vulpix from the Pokeballs as he carefully observed Butterfree. Butterfree had also noticed Alex and his Pokemon and looked at them with watchful eyes. She was on instant alert when she saw that the opposite party had 5 elite Pokemon on their side. She wanted to escape, but after finding that Crobat had locked his vision onto her with his keen eyes, she knew that she had no chance to outrun this fast Pokemon. The instant she tries to flee, he will attack her. Alex observed that Butterfree had noticed them and picked up his already very slow speed a bit to approach this Pokemon safely as soon as possible. Butterfree was on her toes when she saw that Alex's group was not stopping. "Human, please don't come any closer," Butterfree said with a pleading tone when she saw that Alex's group was too close for her to feel secure. Alex began to feel a bit uncomfortable as he heard these words. Butterfree is one of the most peaceful and kindest species out there. This Pokemon never attacks Pokemon or people unless you push it into a corner, and there are even cases where this Pokemon saves wounded Pokemon or people. Alex has only bought Pokemon that were already caught or captured by those who had chosen to attack him. Especially when he saw that LV32 Butterfree was a male, realized that these Pokemon were most likely life partners. He felt a bit bad as he knew that they will be separated after being sold. Alex felt confused for the first time about one of his decisions in this world. The rational mind was speaking that it was very worthwhile to catch these Pokemon, but his heart was wavering. He looked at Butterfree, and after a few seconds, spoke with an unwavering voice. "Butterfree, I know that your potential is high, and because of that, I want to catch you and sell you for a high price. But if you can give me something worth as much as you in exchange, I'll let you go." Alex didn't know exactly why he said that, but he just wanted to see if he could choose a different path than before and make the decision easier. "Human." Butterfree looked at Alex's hesitant expression as she said, "I noticed that you really don't want to do it. Can't you just let me and my partner live in peace?" "No, that is not possible." Alex showed a stern expression as he spoke with a freezing cold tone. "If I sell you, I can make my family members stronger, and thus my family and I will have a better chance of surviving in the future. Although his conscience troubled Alex, he didn't let that affect his decision-making. If he doesn't have a better option, he'll go through with what his logical mind says without hesitation. Alex could kill people if he thought it benefits him, so he was also ready to slave innocent Pokemon if it is valuable. For Alex, only his family, girlfriend, and genuine friends are the ones whom he doesn't see as potential tools to take advantage of. In the beginning, he didn't want to catch innocent Pokemon either. But Alex realized that he would still do it if it could bring enough benefits for him and his family. Butterfree looked at Alex for a few moments and said, "Will you promise me that will let us go after I give you my treasure?" She didn't trust humans and would normally rather die fighting them. But when she thought about her life partner and future children, she fended off such thoughts. Even if the chance of this human following his promise was low, she wanted to give it a try. Alex was astonished that Butterfree was ready to give up her treasure or that she had it at all, in the first place. He showed a sincere face as he said, "I promise you that if your treasures are at least as valuable as you, then I will let you and your life partner go." Butterfree was still a little unsure, but after seeing Gardevoir's look, she felt that this person was telling the truth. She showed a bit of a relaxed expression. "Follow me." Alex told his Pokemon to be vigilant via telepathy as he started following this Butterfree. After not even 3 minutes, Alex's group came in front of a giant tree with several Butterfree sitting on its massive branches. These Butterfree weren't strong enough to be a threat to Alex's group. There were only 13 Butterfree with levels between 15 and 29 on this tree, so there was no reason for Alex to fear them. But even if that was the case, Alex kept a distance from the tree to prevent unexpected attacks while waiting. Elite Butterfree noticed this and went into a hollow opening of the tree, leaving Alex behind. After a while, she and several other Butterfree came out carrying several items in front of Alex. Alex saw many different items with vast differences in value. Some things were worthless, and some were very valuable. He started to put all items of interest in one place. 8x low leaf stone, 2x mid leaf stone, 1x high leaf stone, 1x top leaf stone, 3x dragon fang. Alex couldn't help but be surprised that the Butterfree had a valuable item like Dragon Fang plus not only 1 but 3 Dragon Fang. Dragon Fang is an item that is very rare because it can only be found from a corpse of a Dragon-type Pokemon in its final evolution stage. Dragon-type Pokemon are known to be rare and take a long time to reach their final form, so you can just imagine how difficult this item is to get. Especially since you still have to kill the Dragon-type Pokemon. One Dragon Fang alone is worth at least 40 million and can even be sold for 50 million. Butterfree looked nervous as she wasn't sure what would happen next. Alex looked in the direction of Butterfree and said with a smile, "I am very happy with the item you gave me, so just as I said, I will keep my part of the bargain." But Butterfree's face turned serious as she interrupted Alex, complaining, "But what?" Alex continued to smile as he pulled several bags of high-quality Pokemon food of Scizor out of his TRH device and placed them in front of Butterfree. He gave a light smile and said, "A bonus for you all." Then he happily started leaving this place with his Pokemon. Although he had thought about catching Butterfree anyway, he now felt very uncomfortable doing it. At a certain point in time, greed is also a weak point, thought Alex as he slowly left this place. Gardevoir, who saw Alex handling this situation, had only one thought, and father says he's a monster. What nonsense. Chapter 207. After Alex got out of the habitat of Butterfree, he pulled out his TRH device. He called Daniel and waited a few seconds before Daniel accepted. "Boss." "Yes, Daniel, I have successfully conquered this Butterfree. It will let it do a few tasks for me in this forest, so it would be staying here for the time being. Even though I am not gonna sell it, I'll give you half of the market value of an S-rank Butterfree. As far as I know, the last S-rank Butterfree was sold for 7.5 million, so I'll give you 4 million Pokédollars. Normally the price of a S-rank Pokemon goes down a lot when it reaches the elite level, but this is not the case with very peaceful Pokemon like Butterfree." Daniel smiled and said with a voice that had skillfully hidden his enthusiasm, "Thank you, boss. No problem, I will give the appropriate reward depending on the performance and won't hold back on it if you deserve it." Daniel immediately understood the reason behind Alex's this action. But since it was a win-win position, he said nothing about it. It is better to have a boss like this than a greedy one where you have to bend over for any kind of reward. He also felt Alex's self-confidence that he could somehow understand. He had last seen Alex 4 months ago, and that's why he knew how much progress Alex had made during that time. He won the rookie tournament with only excellent tactics. Of course, his Pokemon were strong, but they were weaker than his opponents. And now, he has become an elite trainer with many powerful elite Pokemon. He knows for sure that Alex has 3 elite Pokemon and his Scizor is most likely at elite rank 2. Okay, Daniel, I have no tasks for you so that you can do what you want. I will send you the 4 million within this day. By the way, do you have a Pokédex, so I can send money through that? Unfortunately, the Pokédex is too expensive for me, but I'll buy one after I've got the 4 million. Okay, I'll call you within this day and then have Gardevoir bring the 4 million to your house. After ending the call, Alex called back all of his Pokemon to their Pokeballs except Gardevoir. Gardevoir, let's teleport to Celadon City. Alex and Gardevoir appeared to a quiet place outside the city where hardly any people pass by. He picked up his TRH device again and clicked on one of the contacts he had saved, and put the TRH device near his ear. Hello, this is Jack speaking. Hello Jack, this is Alex Stark speaking. I found some valuable items, and I immediately thought of you. A smile appeared on Jack's face indicating the future profit he could see. Alex, my good friend. Congratulations on finding such good items. Don't worry, I'll give you prices that no one else can give you. Alex didn't believe this nonsense but still said, good to hear that you can rely on. Are you in the Celadon shopping center? Yes, I am still here for the next 2 hours. Okay, I'll be there in about 5 minutes. See you soon. Eagerly waiting for you, my friend. Alex hung up and started walking down to this Celadon shopping center. He still had Jack's VIP card, so he could get a lot more money there than if he sells it at Team Rocket's shop. After less than 5 minutes, Alex arrived at this familiar building and saw Jack waiting for him in the entrance hall. After exchanging a few friendly words, Jack led Alex back to his office. When they both looked at each other, Alex started to put the items he wanted to sell on the table with a smile. 2x mid-leaf stone. 1x high-leaf stone. 1x top-leaf stone. 2x dragon fang. 1x king's rock. 1x deep sea scale. Alex took the chance to sell 2 other items that were of no use to him. They might be useful in the future, but he didn't think it would happen. As long as he doesn't have unbelievable misfortunes, he can always buy them from the shop. He only kept 1 Dragon Fang and 1 Everstone, which can be very useful later on. Jack, who saw these items, focused his prying eyes on 4 items: 2x Dragon Fang, King's Rock, Top Leaf Stone. He immediately started to write numbers on a piece of paper when he thought about what fair prices would be for those items. Alex, who knew that Jack is an expert in the art to negotiate, was not dissatisfied and waited patiently. He likes this kind of negotiation more than the kind where the salesman is kissing his feet. Jack, who had finished writing, immediately gave that piece of paper to Alex. Price per piece. Low leaf stone, 7,300. Mid leaf stone, 45,000. High leaf stone, 310,000. Top leaf stone, 3,200,000. King's rock, 3 million. Deep sea scale, 40,000. Total value, 96,698,400 plus 10% equals 106,368,240 Pokédollars. Alex knew that these were very good prices. Especially with a plus 10% bonus on top, he didn't think he could sell it elsewhere for a better price. He looked at Jack and was starting to really like this businessman. Jack did not try to take as much as possible from him but tried to choose a price where both parties are satisfied. Although Jack earns a little less money with this method, it made sure that many sellers like Alex would only want to sell things to Jack, or at least they will come to him first. Alex also wanted to have a good relationship with Jack, so he didn't try to hassle prices and immediately agreed. Jack's face was all smile. Even if he only makes 2% profit, 2% of 100 million is not a small sum. Alex and Jack both shook hands with satisfaction in their hearts. Chapter 208. Alex told Jack that he would like to receive payment in the form of cash. Alex prefers to transfer money in cash, making it as difficult to track the trail. Jack looked at Alex with a trained smile on his face as he said, "This sum is so big that I will require a little time. Do you have 30 minutes? Meanwhile, you can check out some of the items we have." "Sure, no problem. Do you have any good items to increase the potential of Pokemon?" "We have a lot of such items. It depends on what you are looking for. Can you give me a list of items that come from an S rank or SS rank Pokemon?" "Sure, just wait a minute." After that, Jack called his secretary to send him the soft copy of the list containing the items that Alex wanted. After he received the mail containing the soft copy, he clicked on the print button. And the next second, the printer printed out 2 papers. After picking them up, he immediately gave them to Alex. Alex, who saw this long list, noticed that the rare items were not so rare in this shop. Although there were no more than 30 S-rank items on the list, it was still a large number, according to Alex. Above all, the 2 SS rank items offered here showed the range of the products these companies have. Alex carried an excited smile as he saw the 2 SS rank items. 45 million. Remains ashes of a champion-level Gengar with SS rank talent. 14 million. 3x scales, filled with normal-type energy for 3 weeks by a champion-level Exploud with SS rank talent. The corpse of a champion-level Pokemon with an SS rank talent was so incredibly rare and expensive that Alex thought he was lucky to find even one in stock. Although the price of 45 million was very high, Alex believed it wouldn't take long for this item to be sold. Probably 1 or 2 months before a rich trainer needs this item. There should be a very good chance that the Shuppet will reach the shallow diamond directly with this item. And after that, it should not be impossible to increase it again to the diamond talent because Shuppet was born with a talent that was already very good. And I haven't given him any items, so the effect would be very high, especially for the first item. I would like to buy both of these SS rank items. Also, I would like to add some of these items from the S rank list, Alex spoke as he pointed out several items on the list. Since he had earned quite a lot of money, he decided to not hold back on buying items. In the end, there was a ridiculous number of valuable and good items on Alex's shopping list. Alex shopping list, 45 million. Remains ashes of a champion-level Gengar with SS rank talent. 14 million. 3x scales, filled with normal-type energy for 3 weeks by a champion-level Exploud with SS rank talent. 5 million. Top Ice Stone. 7 million. Top Ice Gem, increase Ice-type Pokemon's talent when consumed. 1 million. A corpse of a high elite Parasect with the S rank talent. 3.5 million. 3x spoons, all of them filled with 3 weeks of psychic energy from a high elite Mr. Mime. 2 million. A corpse from a high elite Steelix with the S rank talent. 3 million. 2x gloves filled with fighting energy for 2 weeks straight from a high elite Machamp. 1 million. A corpse from a low elite Ditto whose talent was on the S rank. Total amount equals 83 million Pokédollars. When Alex bought items for all his Pokemon, he realized how unpopular Pokemon corpses are among the trainers. From the perspective of cost-effectiveness, they are much better than other items. For the same effect, other items will cost double the amount. If it wasn't for the disadvantage of consuming corpses, Alex would always choose corpses over other items. But first of all, you don't find corpses of high-level Pokemon in high quantity. And it's not necessary that you will find a corpse that is suitable for your Pokemon. If you still didn't understand, then suppose that the first time consumed item has 100% effectiveness. If the item was not a corpse, it will reduce the effectiveness of the future item to 98% while a corpse will lower it to 96%. Fortunately, Alex only buys very high-quality corpses, so this problem shouldn't be a big deal to him. High quality does double the amount of effect that an item with a similar price would do. Alex believes that the main reason why Pokemon corpses are unpopular is that many trainers are morally naive and reject these bloody corpses. They are the kind of people who won't watch a gore movie since they will feel uncomfortable. Although Alex would describe that as a huge double standard, he was a bit happy inside. Because of so many idiots with morals, these items are so cost-effective. Alex also noticed that the prices were a bit higher than with Team Rocket Black Market. It seems that for the advantage of such a large stock of items to choose from, one has to overcome this particular disadvantage. If Alex didn't see strength as much more valuable than money, he would have tried to save that little bit of money. Unfortunately, if you want to save money, you have to give up having these good items as soon as possible and hope that they will show up for a better price at the earliest. For Alex, time is more precious than money. Especially since he can earn several million in less than 1 week if he really wants to. Since Alex bought items, the money he would receive had been reduced, reducing waiting time. Alex took the money and the items with a smile as he chatted with Jack for a while. Both said goodbye to each other politely, and Alex went out of the shop with a broad smile while humming a tune. After finding a place where nobody was watching him, Alex teleported in front of Daniel's house and took off his mask. He knocked and waited patiently for Daniel, who immediately invited him to come in. Alex gave Daniel 4 million and a map of the island with exact information. He also told him that he will most likely meet a girl there with an Arbok, who is his subordinate, and that he should be careful not to provoke her. "Don't worry, boss, I know what not to do," Daniel said, self-confidence reflecting on his face. "Okay, I'll leave you alone now. Use the time and money efficiently to get stronger." Daniel nodded to Alex and accompanied him to the front door. Alex looked at Daniel's firm expression and felt that Daniel would become a really useful subordinate. Although Daniel is not really a monster as a trainer, he should be considered a very talented one for his age. Alex didn't think it would be a problem for Daniel to have at least 3 elite Pokemon after a year of training. Together with his talented Beedrill, his talent should be only inferior to a weak gym leader. Chapter 209. 3 days later, in Pewter City. Alex, sitting in a room, undisturbed, was meditating while he waited for today's rookie participants to gather. His Pokemon were not idle in this room as they were training moves on the side of the training room. After Alex bought the items, he gave almost all of them to his Pokemon so that they could begin absorbing the power of these items. This led some of his Pokemon to successfully improve their potential. Pokemon. Crobat, LV, 44. Type: Poison, Flying. Ability: Inner Focus. Gender: Male. Potential: Deep Gold. Moves: Innate Talent Shadow Ball E, Innate Talent Fly E, Innate Talent Cross Poison E. TM Protect, TM Toxic E, TM Sludge Bomb, TM Facade, TM Taunt E, TM Roost, TM Substitute. Pokemon. Scizor, LV, 44. Type: Bug, Steel. Ability: Technician. Gender: Male. Potential: Deep Gold, Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility E/, Razor Wind, Iron Defense, X Scissor. Innate Talent Roost E, Innate Talent Metal Claw E, Innate Talent Brick Break E. TM Protect, TM Toxic, TM Thief, TM Facade, TM Giga Impact, TM U-Turn, TM Sandstorm, TM Substitute, TM Swords Dance E. Pokemon. Gardevoir, LV, 44. Type: Psychic Fairy. Ability: Telepathy Hidden Ability. Gender: Female. Moves: Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport E, Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic E, Imprison, Future Sight. Innate Talent Disable E, Innate Talent Calm Mind E, Innate Talent Dazzling Gleam E. TM Protect, TM Shadow Ball, TM Will-O-Wisp, TM Thunderbolt, TM Thunder Wave, TM Helping Hand, TM Focus Blast. Pokemon. Ditto, LV, 41. Type: Normal. Ability: Imposter Hidden Ability. Potential: Shallow Gold. Move: Innate Talent Transform E. Pokemon. Bastiodon, LV, 42. Type: Rock, Steel. Ability: Sturdy. Gender: Male. Potential: Deep Gold. Protect, Tackle, Metal Sound, Take Down, Iron Defense, Swagger, Ancient Power, Block, Endure. Innate Talent Rock Polish E, Innate Talent Sleep Talk E, Innate Talent Flamethrower E. TM Taunt E, TM Rock Slide, TM Rest, TM Earthquake, TM Flash Cannon. Pokemon. Combusken, LV, 39. Type: Fire Fighting. Ability: Speed Boost Hidden Ability. Gender: Female. Moves: Growl, Scratch, Ember, Sand Attack, Peck, Double Kick, Flame Charge, Quick Attack, Bulk Up. Innate Talent Attract E, Innate Talent Sunny Day E, Innate Talent Overheat E. TM Protect, TM Flamethrower, TM Rock Slide, TM Will-O-Wisp E, TM Poison Jab. Pokemon. Eevee, LV, 41. Type: Normal. Ability: Adaptability. Gender: Female. Potential: Deep Gold. Moves: Growl, Tackle, Tail, Whip, Quick Attack, Double Kick, Sand Attack, Bite, Swift, Take Down, Double Edge E, Helping Hand, Charm, Baton Pass. Innate Talent Rest E, Innate Talent Sleep Talk E, Innate Talent Workup E. TM Toxic, TM Shadow Ball, TM Facade, TM Protect, TM Attract. Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix, LV, 21. Type: Ice. Ability: Snow Cloak. Gender: Female. Potential: Deep Gold. Moves. Powder Snow. Tail Whip. Roar. Baby Doll Eyes. Ice Shard. Confuse Ray. Icy Wind. Payback. Mist. Innate Talent Hex. Innate Talent Howl E. Innate Talent Blizzard. TM Protect. Underscore. Pokemon. Shuppet. LV. 21. Type. Ghost. Ability. Cursed Body. Hidden Ability. Gender. Male. Potential. Gold. Moves. Knock Off. Screech. Nightshade. Spite. Shadow Sneak. Will-O-Wisp. Faint Attack. Innate Talent Curse. Innate Talent Phantom Force E. Innate Talent Destiny Bond. TM Protect. Underscore. The following items were used but had no visible influence on the potential. Corpse of a High Elite Arbok with S-Rank Talent. Corpse of a High Elite Parasect with S-Rank Talent. 3x Spoon filled with Psychic Energy for 3 straight weeks by a High Elite Mr. Mime. Corpse of a High Elite Steelix with S-Rank Talent. 2x Glove filled with 2 weeks of Fighting Energy by a High Elite Machamp. Corpse of a Low Elite Ditto with the S-Rank Talent. In addition, Eevee got 2 out of 3 scales of the champion level Explode with SS rank talent from Alex and successfully managed to improve her potential to the Deep Gold rank. Alex's plan was to save 1 scale and 1 top moon stone so that they could be used during the Eevee's evolution process. Although he was not 100% sure that it would be enough to get Eevee on the shallow diamond rank, he believed that the probability was very high. What surprised Alex was that after giving the top ice gem to Vulpix, she became a Deep Gold Pokemon. He didn't think that she would get on the Deep Gold rank so effortlessly. But later he thought, she was born with a gold potential and that the first item that she had absorbed, he could understand why it happened. Alex suddenly felt that if he gave Top Ice Stone to Vulpix, she would definitely become a shallow diamond Pokemon. And after that, it shouldn't be impossible to get her on the diamond talent with enough valuable high-quality items. Although Alex would like to do that as soon as possible, he knows that using an Ice Stone on Vulpix too early can cause various problems. For example, after the evolution, she cannot learn a move without TMs, which is a huge disadvantage. Besides, Alex does not know how a Pokemon that has not reached a good level mentally would act if it is forced to evolve and live in its adult form. Alex decided to wait for a little longer. It's also not the case that Alex's fighting strength would make a significant jump if he does that now. Alex gave all of these items to his Pokemon without much expectation. He knew that the number of items needed to bring Pokemon like Crobat, Scizor, and Gardevoir to the shallow diamond talent would be high. Bastiodon should have an easier time because he was born on the shallow gold rank, but he should also need a good number of items. Combusken and Eevee should have no problems getting into the shallow diamond rank after they both got into the deep gold rank with a further evolution. Especially because Alex has prepared good items for both to increase the chance. Alex thinks that the final aim for Shuppet and Vulpix is not shallow diamond but the diamond talent. In contrast to other Pokemon, it should be feasible to bring Shuppet and Vulpix to the diamond rank with enough good items. Alex had the feeling that Crobat, Scizor, Gardevoir, and Ditto's talent had almost reached their limit, and they would have no effect unless the item is from a full-blood legendary Pokemon. So he wouldn't buy any items for these 4 after they have reached the next rank. Although Alex doesn't want to do that, it makes no sense to waste money on something unlikely. It is okay to spend millions on a Pokemon so that it can reach the next rank. But Alex can't spend hundreds of millions with the faint hope that the Crobat, Scizor, or Gardevoir would achieve the diamond rank. Which is not difficult for Pokemon like Shuppet and Vulpix, who were born with a gold talent. For Eevee, Bastiodon, and Combusken, Alex wasn't quite sure yet. Because these Pokemon were born with a shallow gold talent, it should be a lot easier for them to reach this rank compared to Gardevoir, Crobat, or Scizor. Even then, it would take an extravagant amount of money. Alex was not sure how long it would take for most of their potential to reach diamond range. When Alex thought about the talent of his Pokemon, he couldn't help but be a bit conscious about Steven's Pokemon. Each of Steven's Pokemon has at least the same talent as Shuppet and Vulpix, so it was not impossible for Steven's Pokemon to also achieve at least the diamond rank. According to Alex, Metagross, in particular, should also reach the deep diamond rank with enough good items. With Steven's money and connections, that shouldn't be a problem. Alex stopped thinking about this stuff and continued to focus on his meditation. Chapter 210. Alex, who was meditating, heard an abrupt knock on the door followed by the polite words, "Sir, can I come in?" He said solemnly, "Wait," and told Ditto to come back and change his face. Then he opened the door, finding a subordinate standing there. Lisa had given him several subordinates who can help him with this test, and he was one of them. Of course, Alex can't show his actual face, so he has to wear the Ditto mask permanently outside of his room. Alex also brought back all of his Pokemon in Pokeballs except for Crobat. A man in his late 20s walked into the room with a solemn face and a laptop in his hands. This subordinate was called Andrew and was a Team Rocket captain under Lisa's command. "Sir, according to your orders, we have set hidden cameras in every rookie's room and connected them to this laptop. Good job. Have you prepared the 100A rank Pokemon along with the 100 random ones?" "Yes, sir. Nice work. Now, let's go to that room." Alex bought 100 different A-rank Pokemon with Lisa's help to make sure that there are at least a few good ones in these 100 trainers. He wanted the best trainer, someone who can get stronger quickly as a subordinate and not someone lucky enough to get a Pokemon with good potential. Each of these A-rank Pokemon was a typical Team Rocket Pokemon, so Alex could only buy A-rank Pokemon from 5 species: Rattata, Spearow, Zubat, Koffing, and Ekans. In addition, each of these Pokemon was between LV10 and LV15, which also increased their price. Alex had to pay 8.1 million Pokédollars to buy these additional 100 A-rank Pokemon from Team Rocket. It was only possible because he had a high position along with Lisa's help. Although Alex had bought 100 A-rank Pokemon for the test, he had no intention of giving away these Pokemon just like that. He already had a plan to get at least most of his money back without any problem. It was none other than here, where Alex first came more than 6 months ago, and his life took a big turn. There were 4 more Team Rocket members but with less strength and rank than the subordinate Andrew. Although these 4 Team Rocket members were weaker than Andrew, they were still more than strong enough to defeat several rookies. At once, Alex looked in the direction of Andrew and said in a dull tone, "You can start." Andrew nodded and took a Pokeball from his belt, which he immediately threw on the floor. A Hypno immediately appeared. After Andrew gave him instructions, Hypno nodded and teleported away from this hall. In Pewter City, there are 21 places where the people can come to take part in this test. There was one central place for recruit, where 50 unconscious participants had already been gathered. Of course, their background was heavily checked after making them lose consciousness. There are also 20 other places in poor surroundings where between 1 and 5 people were put in a dark room, unconscious. Hypno would teleport to each of these 21 locations and then bring all participants to this location. Using teleport in combat or in rest makes a big difference in range and energy consumption. "And you too," said Alex to another subordinate who also had a Psychic-type Pokemon. He asked Lisa for 2 subordinates who have Psychic-type Pokemon so that he doesn't have to show Gardevoir or have to wait a long time. After less than 20 minutes, all 100 participants were scattered throughout the large hall. All of them are still sleeping, and they will be for at least 15 minutes. Probably 25 minutes before every one of the 100 wakes up, according to Alex. He and his subordinates left and went to the next room, waiting and observing via the hidden cameras. Alex looked at the young men and girls who were almost the same age as him and suddenly began to think about how young he is and how far he has come. He recalled the day when he came to this world. He was thrown out of the orphanage on his 16th birthday. Now, it had been almost 1 year. He realized that he would be 17 years old in 13 days. Although Alex is much older mentally due to his previous life, he was still surprised how much had happened this year. On the dark side, he became a murderer, enslaved innocent Pokemon and his life partners, manipulated several people and Pokemon. When Alex thought about this eventful year, he felt glad that he came into this world. Although he missed his family very much, he didn't miss anything from his old world that can be found in this Pokemon world. Above all, this feeling of freedom is simply unique in this world. Although this world had many flaws and several big problems, Alex would prefer to stay in this world and continue to pursue his goals. In this world, he has a goal, a reason to work hard every day, a job he loves so much that he doubts he can find anything like that in his world. Alex was impressed by this world full of uncertainty, joy, and opportunities.